no idea when I'm getting it around to N64 shit. Anyway.
Well, when you have like people over or something like that.
It's more of a social.
That's what retro consoles are really good for.
Yeah,
for sharing games with people.
Yeah.
And then the nostalgic factor of breaking out a retro system and playing that with friends is
still feels
golden.
nice.
And also the feeling of destroying friendships with Mario Kart and Mario Party.
Yeah, David Harding.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, or like there will literally be nothing can replicate Halo 1 and 2 4-player multiplayer. Like there is no thing that equates to that. Or
I'm barely experienced in the Halo universe because I never owned an Xbox, and like so the
man, you would absolutely love Halo.
I have played some of them now. The only time that I really experienced them mostly though was Halo 2 at a friend's house. I think John had that at some point. Mm-hmm. I think we did some
Halo 2.
Yeah.
We took it up and downstairs.
Yeah.
Halo 2, getting the sword and then teabagging every one of your kills was a must.
My fondest deathmatch memories, though, nothing will ever top it because it's childhood. I spent the entire summer between 7th and 8th grade on GoldenEye and Mario Kart 64. Like my three best friends childhood best friends would come over to my house like almost every day of the summer and like brought the games, and we just did that shit all fucking day.
Please tell me you weren't an odd job player.
Oh no, I was the dick who would kamikaze with remote mines. I would run up to
I did that shit too.
Chuck them in their face and explode it in the air. Between
everybody did that.
Yeah.
I would hunt people with remote mines.
Yeah.
And proximity mines? Oh my god, I love proximity mines.
The other fun one was one hit kills, all slaps only. Mm-hmm. And we'd all just run up to each other or like crouch crawl towards each other and do that. You just hear that. Yep. Hey everybody, welcome to the Getting Off Topic podcast. It is Sunday night. My weekend has started as of 8 p.m. This is Tony.
This is Todd.
This is Byron.
And Meg.
Byron soullessly eating his plain popcorn with literally nothing on it.
It's like a speck of salt on it.
A speck of salt.
Popcorn stops being a healthy snack if you dump a bunch of shit on it.
Okay. Can you just stare at us blankly while you, in an American Psycho voice, you tell us why you prefer nothing on your popcorn?
I have to return some videotapes.
How's everybody doing?
Tim? What is it? Tim Allen likes his card more than than mine.
Tim Allen?
Tim
the Tool Man? Oh, geez. So Meg and I, as of last night, we completed our entire Supernatural binge.
Wow.
Yay.
That is commitment.
That defined our quarantine. We started that August-ish, maybe. So that's 15 seasons of television in about 8-ish months.
Wow.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. I saw.
Are those long ass seasons too?
Oh yeah, they're full seasons, like old school full season, 22, 24 episodes or something.
Wow.
Except for season one of the early seasons, maybe 4 or 5 or something, was slightly shortened. It was 16 episodes because of a writer's strike, I think.
Which I assume
the 2007 writer's strike.
Maybe, yeah. Wait, the show started in it started in 05. So yeah, it was probably season 3-ish maybe, or yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I genuinely enjoyed it. Meg and I, it's weird to experience something that's been an insanely massive fandom, part of people grew up with this shit, and we just experienced it super compressed in this like span of less than a year. And it definitely gave us
Supernatural stands are like something else.
Yeah. And I mean, we fell in love with it.
They put like Trekkies to shame.
Yeah. Meg was so beat up by the ending, like she like lost sleep. Like Meg.
I have not been sleeping well to begin with. And then add on top of that, the like broken heart I felt by watching the last episode. I've just been like nonstop thinking about all of it.
It's a very
last 24 hours.
Yeah. People were very split on the ending. Like, I mean, I don't like.
People were split on in the ending to a TV show.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, after 15 years, like nothing is going to be satisfying. Like nothing's going to be satisfying. You have to tell yourself, well, it's about the journey because there's literally nothing.
The only two like satisfying conclusions to long-running TV shows I've ever watched were Star Trek: The Next Generation and Star Trek: Deep Space Nine, but for completely different reasons. Yeah. Because DS9 had an ending, and Next Gen's ending was an ending that wasn't an ending.
Yeah,
I didn't really like DS9's ending. I thought it kind of ended all over the place.
Really?
And the stories were still kind of open for a lot of the characters.
That's so weird. I totally disagree. I mean, there are some like dangling threads, but almost everything is wrapped up.
I mean, the Supernatural ending was satisfying. I'm not saying that I'm upset about it. I'm just upset emotionally because it's come to an end.
No.
And the characters are done. So that's where I get all the feels from. I'm not saying it's a terrible ending and, oh God, I wish it was different. It was just like, I want the show to go on forever, you know?
No. And they definitely do put like a solid ending to it. I mean, you could maybe stretch and say like, well, they could always come back and do this or this, but it would be like a real big stretch.
They're not going to do movies or anything.
No, there's no plans for anything now. They're saying this is the end, even though both of them, Jared and Jensen, are like, oh, we would totally come back if they said, if like 5 years down the road, some streaming service says like, hey, do like a quick little 10 episode.
And they're definitely going to be doing Supernatural conventions until they both die.
Oh yeah, totally.
That's their bread and butter.
Yeah, they're like
they like redefine the convention circuit. Like conventions have changed because of Supernatural.
In what way?
Because the showrunners and the people behind the show work so directly in tandem with the conventions. They're effectively official to like their like official Star Trek conventions are a certain way, but like Supernatural conventions are like they're almost put on by the show specifically to increase the popularity of the show.
Huh. Nice.
Well, I mean, even Supernatural had a convention within its own show about its own show.
Oh yeah,
that's why they did that. Yeah.
There's so much meta shit inside that. Oh, Todd's got his emergency pizza. You just have a thing on the wall like break glass in case of
hunger emergency.
Pizza craving. Yeah. Yeah. Meg said one of the first things Meg said after we finished the last episode, she was like, this is on par, or if not, I think she had surpassed her love of like her big longtime shows were like Buffy and Angel.
Oh, it didn't surpass it, but it's just like a fresher version of that for me.
Oh, okay.
You know, like I liked it on par with those types of shows.
Yeah.
Like
which are your long standing like
yeah.
top ones, yeah.
Well, it also lasted like 3 times as long as Angel did.
True, yeah. Yeah, we were talking like a few weeks ago. We were saying like, man, what are we gonna do? Like once it's over, like what do we do with our lives? And I had been telling Meg like, well, Meg had still never seen X-Files, so that would be a good like next show. Although I was telling her now, honestly, Supernatural
did like every single one of those stories.
It did well. I mean, it was a baby from. It was birthed from X-Files. Like a lot of the OG crew from and producers from the X-Files gang came on for this ride, and so that's how it started. Very much was like a X-Files, the college age, you know, the new class, and then it evolved into something completely different. But I think, as far as even though Supernatural, it went on for so damn long, and it had definitely a lot of ups and downs. I think it closed the deal so well that I don't want Meg to be disappointed by X-Files now, because X-Files totally shit the bed in the later seasons, especially with the mythology. I mean, there are still a lot of fun, like Monster of the Week episodes and stuff, but if I had to gauge, like telling somebody recommend, oh, should I binge X-Files or Supernatural? I'm almost, I would say, I think Supernatural kind of does it better, like as far as overall scoring. I don't know.
That's like me when I watched the X-Files. I think you gave me a couple of DVDs, and then I watched it on Netflix.
Mm.
I started the first few seasons, and I loved it up until like season like 5 or 6 or something like that.
I mean, that's
and then just like completely stopped caring about any of it after that.
No, I actually love the whole original run, even with, I mean, I love Doggett and what was her name? Forget the other girl. I enjoyed them. A lot of people hated them and said like, no, give me Mulder back. It's like, I actually liked it. It kind of refreshed it for me. And then they all kind of circle back at the end. But after that, the ending to the very final episode of the show, I was very meh about. And then the second movie and the two little, last seasons, especially with the mythology, that just, that broke my heart. They just shit the bed so hard there that it's.
I mean, so I've never really watched a lot of. I've seen like a handful of Supernatural episodes. I've never really. I don't get it personally. I don't know why. I just don't.
Well, you hate the Orville. What do you know?
Yeah.
Not sci-fi enough for you.
But okay, go ahead.
I think the highs of X-Files are like fucking stratospheric. Like I think especially since the X-Files very much, especially for the first 4 seasons, definitely 3 seasons, it really tries to ground itself in all of this has some sort of scientific explanation, or at least they're trying to make everything plausible through the realm of science, to the point where like you could show this to certain people if they were dumb enough, and they might think that all of this stuff was actually 100% real. But just mainly because the relationship between Mulder and Scully is so incredible. And it's also really, really, really well shot, especially for the time period. Like, I don't think we understand until you've gone back and watched the Blu-ray versions or the ones that are on any of the streaming services now. The show looks so good because it was shot on really, really high quality stock back in the day. It looks, it's a period piece that looks like a time capsule from the early 90s. It looks like it was shot now as a period piece. Like, that's how good. That's how good and how much attention to detail there was in the original series in terms of the set design is fantastic. The production in general was such high quality.
Those sweet shoulder pads.
Yeah, season 1 a little bit less, but season 2, 3, and 4. I mean, pretty much after season 3, you could show it to people now and be like, "This is a period piece. It was shot today," and people would believe you. That's how good it looks.
Yeah.
I mean, I am a massive X-Files fan, so I'm heavily like biased here.
I am too.
I know.
It takes a lot for me to say that. I think it's just, I really think they stuck the landing better, Supernatural did, than X-Files. Other than that, like you said, you fall in love with the character.
I am not doubting that at all. Like, I totally believe you that Supernatural's ending is better than the X-Files ending. Because the X-Files ending, well, first off, it didn't end up being an ending. And it wasn't very good. It was pretty bad.
But like, same thing that kept us going through Supernatural, even through the lows, was we fell in love with the characters. And like you said, Mulder and Scully, it's like, just like we ended up doing with Sam and Dean, it's like at some point you're just like, oh, I'm gonna watch these people forever,
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll definitely get around to it, but I have now lowered the bar for Meg as far as the the satisfying ending portion of it. At some point, just keep enjoying the Monster of the Week episodes. That's what matters.
Also, like some of those early X-Files episodes are legitimately scary, even to a seasoned horror fan.
Oh, one of the one that Meg has ever seen, or one of the very few that she recalls ever seeing,
was the first one I ever watched.
Luke.
No, not Fluke. Oh, that one. Oh, gross me the fuck out. Oh, the episode title's on the tip of my tongue. The invisible creatures, basically the predators in the forest with the glowy red eyes. And it was, I forget the explanation. There's some like explorers.
And the sense of mood, in the X-Files is so like, it is so drenched in mood.
Detour.
Yeah, it's a good one.
That's the one. Yeah.
Anyways, enough about X-Files.
Okay, yeah, all right. Well, I'm actually timing our episode today, seeing as our last couple have gone over 2 fucking hours, so. But I did get some headlines. I thought like we're going to have nothing to talk about, but a few bits of news we can run through. Oh, I have been seeing, this is kind of random, but in our world of COVID, by the way, tomorrow is my Moderna 2 vaccine boogaloo.
Electric boogaloo.
Yeah.
Yay.
Todd, you said you didn't get like any side effects. You were like fine.
I was perfectly fine. Like the next day after getting the shot, I was supremely exhausted, but that was about it. There was a mild headache, but like nowadays I always have a mild headache.
I'm getting my shot next Sunday, so you're gonna watch it in real time.
Congrats. Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Well, if you get it on Sunday, it's really the day after everybody seems to be is the hell day. So yeah, so I can get my shot like midday tomorrow, but it's waking up Tuesday. If it's anything like Meg's, that's when hell begins. But whatever. But I did see that.
Take 2 Tylenol and then drown 2 Powerades, and you should be good.
Yeah, we got Pedialyte. But I did see some people that have checked out Disneyland since it reopened. Apparently, there's like ride refreshes on the Haunted Mansion, Indiana Jones, and Snow White. A few others, I think.
Right. What?
Like refreshes. They've done some
new effects and stuff like that.
Yeah, refurbishing and whatnot. I thought they said they were going to do more to pirates again too. I don't know if
they removed like one of the rapey pirates.
Oh right.
They did that a long time ago though.
They were going to get rid of like the brides for sale or something.
Well, they already did that.
Oh,
they changed the sign to like hats for sale or something.
Oh, okay.
They cut like 3 or 4 minutes off the Star Wars ride because all rides have to be under 15 minutes.
Oh,
really?
COVID restrictions. Yeah. Interesting. Huh.
Yeah, because I think the original runtime for the Star Wars ride is like 19 minutes, so they had to cut like 4 minutes off of it.
So how does that work for Haunted Mansion when that shit breaks down every 2 seconds?
They have to evacuate you then.
It's like supposed to be like a 10-minute ride, and it turns out to be 15 to 20. Yeah. I don't know, whatever. I guess it doesn't fucking matter. We're not.
Yeah, I had a friend who went yesterday, and they have to be at 25% capacity.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever been to Disneyland with at 25% capacity, but actually, it's amazing.
Yeah, we I think have pretty close to that percentage.
There's one day we went with Frank.
Yeah.
And it started to rain.
And there was, even before it rained, there was legit like nobody there.
Yeah,
it was
like a ghost town.
Off time. It was midweek on like a Thursday.
It's like one of the best times we've had at Disneyland because we just walked up to everything.
There was a point.
I went for. Go ahead, Meg.
There was a point in like the French Quarter area where there wasn't a single person.
Jeez.
It was so trippy.
I went on grad night for my high school, and there were a couple high school.
Uh-oh, you're breaking up, Todd.
Times in a row with like no lines. We got on Matterhorn. We got on Big Thunder Mountain. We got on Pirate. We rode Pirates 5 times in a row, just getting off the exit and going back into it with no wait.
Nice.
Jeez.
Well, crazy.
So I worked at Disneyland for a year, and It was yeah, I mean, so I got to get I always knew when the park was like slow and that type of thing. And it was almost always Sundays was the best day to go in the evening.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
It'll probably be a while till we go anyway. Although we were talking about hitting up Halloween Horror Nights. If that happens, is that supposed to happen?
I think it's so that's why I haven't bought my plane tickets yet, is because I want them to announce it before I buy my plane ticket. And then after they announce it, then I'll buy my plane ticket.
Gotcha.
I might just buy my plane ticket anyways because they're so cheap right now, and the plane ticket is more likely to go up in price.
True. Yeah.
And if they don't end up doing Halloween Horror Nights, I'll just go to one of the hundreds of other like Halloween events that they have in California. Because you guys know this, that like even despite the fact that Southern California has Halloween Horror Nights and Not Scary Farm, they're also like the best reviewed haunted house like haunts in the country or in LA. Like 10 of them, the 10 top reviewed ones.
We went to the Haunted Hayride a year or two back.
I was a little underwhelmed with it. We went with friends, so it was fun. We got free tickets, which is why we went.
Yeah.
But it was weird. It wasn't as big as I assumed it would be.
There's other ones that are in LA County that are put on by like special effects houses and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And they're not as popular as Halloween Horror Nights, obviously, but they have good budgets. And I mean, when you have that type of talent pool, you're going to get a baseline of quality just in general.
Yeah, for sure. We'll have to make a list. Want to get into some movie or TV news?
Let's do it.
I got a fun one. John Delancey. I mean, I know you don't care about Star Trek, Byron, but John Delancey, our beloved Q, actually let slip recently, this past week, that he is actually shooting content for Picard seasons 2 and 3.
Yeah, because they're shooting 2 and 3 back to back.
Yeah, so he's going to be sticking around to piss off Picard plenty.
Yeah, there's some interesting leaks. I don't even know if I should say them because they're pretty big spoilers, actually. I mean, they're not like massive, but
for Picard,
for Picard, yeah, there was some stills that leaked, and let's just say
the entire Next Gen crew is back.
No. There's some hints in the teaser.
What?
There's some hints in the teaser that some people were like, "Oh, what does this mean?" And yes, given the leaks that have come out, the theories about the teaser are pretty accurate. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. All right. Speaking of teasers, did you catch the one for Dexter, the Dexter revival?
I didn't catch that one. No.
Are you a Dexter fan at all?
I watched the first 2 seasons, and then I was like, "Oh, okay, this show exists."
It was, I think, pretty much all of the fans agree, me included, that the first 4 seasons were super solid.
Well, I wouldn't say super solid. I think the first season, and I forget which season, is it 3 or 4 that had the Trinity Killer?
It's number 4.
Number 4. Those were the 2 best seasons.
John Lithgow as the Trinity Killer. John Lithgow, fucking amazing and terrifying performance.
If anything, that was the better season out of all of them.
Yeah, I would agree. And it all went downhill from there.
I've heard a lot of people stop watching after season 2.
Oh.
I don't blame them. I remember. Season 2 kind of sucked.
I've heard that from a lot of people, that after season 2, they were just like, "Yeah, I just stopped watching."
Okay. Well, anyway, for those of you out there who have any interests, there's the teaser out there
we'll watch it.
Yeah, we'll totally watch it.
No, but I mean, I think it's interesting that like they're coming back because they want to unfuck up their super fucked up finale.
Yeah, Michael C. Hall has been very candid about that, just like giving the fans an actual worthy,
giving him a beard and sending him to Oregon.
Yeah. Well, in the teaser, he gets rid of his burly lumberjack beard.
Thank God.
Yeah. It just shows him in like a snowy cabin, and you see as he's staring out the window, like in the reflection of the glass, there's somebody on his table all taped up, just like trying, and you hear like little struggling sounds, like yeah, we'll see what happens there. There was it's not really like huge news, but officially Moon Knight, which I know Todd is super interested in. Moon Knight.
Yeah, I'm really interested in too. I've read a bunch of the comics.
Yeah, there wasn't anything too exciting, just that there was like a set photo that came out. You don't even see Oscar Isaac or anything, but it's just like, it's official, it's filming now. There's a few Marvel things that came out actually. We did see first photos of, I'm pronouncing her name correctly, Iman Vellani, who is playing Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan in her comic accurate outfit.
She looks like the character.
She does look, yeah. I mean, the costume looks really good, but it also looks a little too. I feel like the costume looks a little too like made for a movie, you know. And like Kamala Khan is supposed to have like put this shit together herself. I mean, you can say the same thing about Spider-Man, I guess. Like,
well, yeah, it's very similar to Spider-Man. I know we like within the last year there were photos of her like homemade pieced together outfit, and now she gets like a more properly done one. She found a tailor, I guess.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. There are also new rumors or leaks or whatever.
Well, on top of that, real quick, I also saw the Hawkeye suit leak today too.
Hawkeye. Yes.
His purple suit.
Yes. And actually, something I was telling Meg, I saw
the matte fraction version
yesterday, which is really cool. Oh, that one?
Yeah.
Was that in that same photo that I saw? Yes, I think that
the one where he's like got blood on his face.
Yeah. And also very awesome in that same, if you're talking about the same photo that I'm looking at, David Mack, writer, artist, he did some Daredevil, he did some Jessica Jones, he did that comic Kabuki. He actually, David Mack posted on Instagram, I think the same photo you're talking about. It's Jeremy Renner and Alakwa Cox, who is playing the character Echo.
That was Echo?
Yeah, so that's an original character that.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so for the listeners at home, David Mack created this original character Echo, who is a deaf indigenous person, Native American hero in the Marvel world. Originally created for his run on Daredevil, and they have not only have they included this character in the Hawkeye show, but Alakwa Cox is in real life a deaf and indigenous person, which is awesome.
Wait a minute.
What's up?
You said Daredevil. That's DC, right?
No, that's Marvel.
No.
I thought Daredevil.
Nope.
Oh, man. Okay.
I mean, he is just like Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah, just all red. But yeah, so I thought, well,
not rich. Well, he's a lawyer, I guess. So
yeah, true. Hell's Kitchen lawyer, but
true.
Anyway, but yeah,
preying on the.
Yeah, but that was really awesome to hear that, and for inclusivity and not only that, but he was David Mack in this post I saw on Instagram. He was congratulating her because what said in her words, in her own words, within the span of 30 days, Alakwa Cox wrapped on the Hawkeye series, secured an Echo spin-off series.
I heard about that.
Yeah, and also got engaged and bought a sweet new car for herself. So good for her.
That's awesome.
Nice.
But yeah, so that's pretty rad. I know nothing about this character, but I just for the sake of everything.
I mean, just think about that. Like what you just said. Like there's going to be an Echo spinoff, so we're going to get a show that is centered around the experiences of like a deaf person. Which was the last time we had a television show about something like that? Like
exactly, yeah. A deaf Native American or indigenous person. I'm not sure what the most preferred.
I think indigenous peoples.
Okay, yeah.
The preferred term now.
Yeah, I thought that was rad as fuck. And also, hey, purple Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Speaking of Daredevil, though, there are reports, leaks, rumors, whatever the fuck you want to call it. People out there are saying And apparently these are the same people who originally confirmed that the She-Hulk show was in development. Those same people are also now saying that Daredevil is confirmed to appear in She-Hulk.
That would make
sense.
Yeah.
Those characters are always like in the same realms.
Well, because she's also a lawyer.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
And she has a partnership with Jessica Jones.
Oh, okay. I find it interesting that. Oh, go ahead.
They're a frequent team up. Her and Jessica Jones. They're the counterparts to Power Man and Iron Fist.
Yeah. I'm just interested to see the take that they're doing, because I forgot that I read this description before, and in these new articles, they were describing the show, the She-Hulk show, as a half-hour legal comedy. And I was like, so
like Ally McBeal?
Ally McBeal? Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see. It could be fun. I mean, I like that we have this massive superhero world now of Marvel where you can play in all these different genres. So, I mean, we haven't had a half-hour legal comedy yet, so why the hell not? You know?
Have we even had a half-hour show in the Marvel universe yet? Well, I guess WandaVision is close. I think those ran. Some of them were under a half hour, some of them were over.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was closer to a half hour than hour long.
Well, 20 minutes of show, 45 minutes of credits.
Seriously.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, when your effects team is that big, you're gonna have a lot of names.
Yeah, true. Over in the world of animation on Amazon, Invincible got renewed already for seasons 2 and 3.
I'm really stoked about that.
Yeah,
I was watching the show recently, and I really do think I was such a huge fan of it to begin with, and it's taken so long for an adaptation to come out. Even like compared to Robert Kirkman, like The Walking Dead is so successful. How did it take this long to get Invincible off the ground? I think I'm just really, really stoked that people seem to be really enjoying it because it's a great story.
Well, it feels good.
Oh,
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, sometimes you sit there and you can sit and wonder, like, God, like, well, this should have been made ages ago. And then you think of other stories about things that have been in like different stages of development and never quite made it. And eventually something great comes out of it. Like, I think at some point, like in the 90s, we were going to get a very 90s James Cameron X-Men at some point
and Spider-Man.
And Spider-Man, yeah. And I don't know, sometimes you hear those stories of like the things that almost happened and you're like, okay, it's good that it took this long.
Well, we almost got well, I guess this sort of maybe would have been better. We almost got Avatar with fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger in 1999.
Yeah.
And I remember I read about that on Ain't It Cool News in like 2001 about how James Cameron was working on this movie called Avatar and had been for a while and wanted Arnold Schwarzenegger to star in it, and it was supposed to come out in 99. And I was like, whoa, Avatar, what's that about?
I'm just curious how that would have worked with the CGI elements in the 90s versus.
It wouldn't have. That's why
it would have looked like garbage.
Exactly.
Yeah, it could have, and by the time we got around to now, it would have looked like a PS1 cutscene.
The blue aliens would have looked like fucking Jar Jar.
I mean, yeah, probably.
Misa, go to Pandora. And I thought I remember hearing for a hot minute the studios wanted Tom Cruise as Tony Stark when they were working on Iron Man.
Supposedly they approached him and he wasn't interested.
Well, they didn't want Robert Downey Jr. because at that time he was still a washed up drug addict.
Yeah.
So
that movie saved his life.
Yeah. He had to fight hard for that. And,
I mean, he was already making a comeback with Tropic Thunder and stuff prior to Iron Man.
Yeah, but that was still a role that was like under the radar.
Tropic Thunder came after.
No, Tropic Thunder came out before Iron Man.
Oh, it was like right at the same time. It was 2008. Huh. Wow.
what I was going to say earlier before we get too far away from Marvel.
Oh, go ahead.
Marvel producers teased Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character is not just like a one-shot, one-off kind of like minor character. She's going to be a big part of some upcoming Marvel properties.
She's also in Black Widow.
Nice.
Really?
Yeah, it leaked. There were pictures of her spotted on the Black Widow set like a year ago.
Oh shit.
That leaked, and it just now is like people are realizing
They're going,
that they're
oh damn.
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense with the way that they introduced her in Falcon.
Yeah, I wonder if because Black Widow.
So she was we were already supposed to know who she was.
Right. She was supposed to be introduced in Black Widow like a fucking year ago. Wow.
Well, supposedly they did reshoots. Supposedly they didn't have to do a lot of reshoots, but they had to reshoot one scene for her introduction.
Okay. Yeah, you can't throw in Julia Louis-Dreyfus and like not just leave her a little tiny footnote in the MCU. No, she's got to be here for at least a little while. Sweet.
She might be a Skrull, maybe not. We'll see.
Cool. One little, I mean, it's not like Marvel news, but it was funny. Ryan Reynolds was joking on Twitter this week that he's going to put Deadpool 3 aside on hold to make the Fantastic Four reboot. But his preferred cast for a Fantastic Four reboot is the It's Always Sunny cast. And his production company put out a fake poster with them on Twitter. I'll have to send
Frank Reynolds is the thing.
Yep.
Oh man, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
It works so well.
Yeah, it really does. I'll have to send you this.
It's just them in a bar arguing in their suits.
This will have to be this might have to be the podcast art. It's just brilliant. It's not actual news. It's just great that
the gang gets cosmic.
Yeah. I love that Dennis is Doom in the background. It's fantastic. Let's see what else we got. There's some random movie news, but I just thought it's kind of interesting. Well, one of them is kind of fantasy based. There was a Deadline article about a bunch of production that's starting back up in the Czech Republic. Apparently, there's a shitload of filming out there. Number one is the Wheel of Time series, Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time.
What?
Which is
that's actually happening?
Yes, it's finally happening.
Wow.
They're gonna try to be the next
They've
Game
been
of Thrones.
talking about that for like years.
Yeah, Rosamund Pike is starring in that one. I know nothing about the story other than it's like 100 books long, but that's finishing season 1 filming right now, and a season 2 is already going to be picking up right after.
That's fantastic.
And didn't somebody have to like write the last couple of books because the author died?
Robert Jordan passed away. Yeah, wasn't it his son? No, it was a
protege ghostwriter.
Okay.
Basically, I think worked with him on the last book he was alive for, and then the other guy took over once he died.
Okay.
AKA the only way we're gonna get more Game of Thrones books.
Yeah. I actually only got through the first Robert Jordan book, and then I set it down. And once I was ready to pick up book number 2, I had forgotten everything that happened in the first book because it's so dense, setting up this world and politics and characters and everything. And a lot of those fantasy novels are all kind of the same story.
Yeah.
You know, some like middle of nowhere kid is destined to become some like great hero and then goes off and does this journey to get all of his powers and shit.
The chosen one problem.
Huh?
It's the chosen one.
Yeah, exactly. So with a story like that that's so generic, I read another fantasy novel with the same-ish plot line, and so I start getting stories confused.
Yeah, what was the other series you were like in? The Name of the King?
Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss, which I actually kind of liked more.
Patrick Rothfuss, yeah.
And Name of the Wind is fantastic.
Yeah.
Name of the King is a terrible, terrible, god-awful D&D movie.
Oh, that's the what's his name? Yeah.
Jason Statham.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the
giant other cast. Uwe Boll.
Uwe Boll,
and
a Uwe Boll joint.
Name of the Wind, they've also been trying to make into like I mean, I remember reading stories about them turning it into a show fucking 5 years ago. So
yeah.
I think that would do well as a show versus a movie.
Because
fantasy books.
Name of the Wind is very very similar in tone to Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
It's adult in a lot of the ways that like most fantasy in the genre isn't.
Yeah, that's the King Killer Chronicle is the series. The last update I can see, just with a quick Google
George
search.
R. Martining it, like, stop bothering me about it.
Oh, for the, what is it, third or fourth book or
The
something?
Third book,
yeah. And as far as the adaptation, Rothfuss said at the beginning of 2019 that the TV series would not be a direct adaptation. It would be taking place a generation earlier instead of fucking whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Okay.
So one thing I wanted to touch on real quick is, so did you guys, you're probably going to think this is very weird because I think it's very weird. I used to be a really big Tom Clancy fan.
I played a Rainbow Six game.
I've played a lot of Tom Clancy games, unfortunately. And I feel more and more guilty every day that I do. It's just like, it makes me so uncomfortable at this point. Like, and it's more of like let's see what they think type of situation, if you know what I mean. So they've got this Without Remorse movie that just dropped on Amazon, starring Michael B. Jordan.
Oh yeah, I've seen
as John Clark, and I've read that book. I've read almost all of the original mainline books, except for like the last couple that he wrote before he died.
Sorry, quick side note: did Tom Clancy do Patriot Games and
that was Tom Clancy?
Clear and Present Danger.
I don't know if you've ever gone back and rewatched any of these movies or any of the Tom Clancy stories, but it turns out in most stories that the Democrats are the villains. In like every single Tom Clancy story, it's Democrats are traitors to the United States, and it's just a
shocker.
A Reaganite fan, like military fantasy.
I mean, it's all military industrial complex books. So what do you expect?
Exactly. Gotcha. Yeah. But like especially egregious, like in that form. I guess like we didn't get the sense of it in the 80s because like, fuck the commies and all that. And like, Reagan, everybody was jerking off. Anyway, so like I watched some of the Jack Ryan show, and it's just like, it feels like military, like industrial complex porn. And it's still like, we're still just endlessly calling like Iraqis and terrorists still. We're just still doing that. Anyways, they're making these shows and this movie into the Clancyverse. The Without Remorse is set in the same universe as the Jack Ryan show.
Okay.
So that means
is that still ongoing?
Yeah. I mean, it's really popular.
Okay.
I really wanted to like it because I really like John Krasinski, and I wanted him to be Cap long ago when he was, while they were using John Krasinski as leverage for Chris Evans. So yeah.
So he's gonna join forces at some point with Michael B. Jordan.
I'm guessing that they'll do like a team up movie.
Okay.
It'll probably end up being something like Rainbow Six or something like that. A big property that is really well known, because I don't think you guys remember, but Rainbow Six was like fucking huge.
It's still huge. Rainbow Six Siege right now is one of the most popular.
I just mean like the book when it came out. It was the most popular Clancy book since like the Hunt for Red October.
Oh, okay. I'm not really familiar with the book series, other than I know, oh, it's Tom Clancy. That's one of those names where he has like 1,000 books under his name. And I played like a PC version of like one of the first, if not maybe the first Rainbow Six game, which I enjoyed.
Yeah.
And then they started releasing one. I feel like that's one of those series that they release every year, like a Madden or something.
They used to for a while. Yeah.
They released usually two games. They had either a Ghost, a Rainbow Six, or a Splinter Cell, like every year.
Yeah, I mean, like Ubisoft for a while was just like known as like a Tom Clancy machine, you know, like now that all they do is make Assassin's Creed games. And sexually harass their employees.
I mean, that's just what you do in the gaming industry, right?
Well, they're French. What do you expect?
A
bit of light stereotyping there.
Another, well, I guess
yeah, because the French never stereotype Americans.
This isn't really related, but in other movie news, well, it's actually Netflix movie news, All Quiet on the Western Front. They're actually doing a new adaptation with that, starring our beloved Good Time Zemo. Daniel Bruhl is going to be.
I don't know how you do that film better, though.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, why? I mean, like I guess, like, modern audiences just won't watch anything that's in black and white or old, you know? Like,
no, yeah. Of course not.
It's like if you tried to do like a new Lawrence Arabia again, or the last Ben-Hur was garbage.
Oh shit! I forgot they did that again.
I am just like generally not in favor of remaking like classic movies, just because.
I agree with you.
What's the fucking point? Like,
it's classic for a reason, because you can't do better.
Because Hollywood says "fuck you, money."
And like, I guess when it's an adaptation of something that's based on like a book or something, I guess, you know, sometimes that works, but it usually doesn't. It's usually just not as good. Anyways.
Although we were talking to our friends at book club this past week, and I think we touched on it in the last podcast or two as well. Meg and I were pleasantly surprised by, I mean, I've never read or seen the original movie either, but the Murder on the Orient Express movie, I really enjoyed the hell out of it. We both did, and we were curious about the next movie, which I think we did discuss on the podcast, because that's in weird limbo now because of Armie Hammer. But oh well. So it's occasionally you get like
you know, I purposefully didn't watch the Murder on the Orient Express because I'm a huge fan of the original, and I read the reviews and they were like, this movie's dog shit. So I was like, okay, well, I definitely don't want to be disappointed, because I absolutely love the original.
Okay, I haven't seen the original, so I didn't have any like stake in the game, but I enjoyed Kenneth Branagh. It was good.
Like Murder on the Orient and subsequently Death on the Nile are the only non-horror movies that have ever scared me like horror movies. Like, they're murder mystery movies, but they are more in line with like modern day slasher films in terms of how weighty and how terrifying each perpetual or each like of the next murders is. Anybody could get it at any point.
How many movie adaptations have there been?
Is it of Death in the Nile? Well, there's only one good one. There might be more than one, but I think there's only one. They were made in the 70s, and they're like fucking classics. If you haven't seen them, I absolutely recommend them.
I'll add them to say it every day like Cap. I'll add it to the list.
Speaking of things that are already on your list, Tony, the thing that we spoke about, the game that we spoke about last week, Aztec Forgotten Gods, which hasn't even come out yet, has been sold for movie rights. So there's a movie in production for it.
Shit.
Really?
Wow.
Hasn't even come out yet. Yeah.
Interesting. Huh. That's cool.
Ain't that some shit?
They can sell the rights to rights get sold for all the time, but will they actually develop it? We'll see. But that's cool. That's awesome. Ewan McGregor, our beloved Obi-Wan, was in an interview this past week, and he, while trying to be very classy about it, he did promise the fans that the Obi-Wan TV series will be way above and beyond the unfortunate prequel movies. He in so many words, he was saying, George Lucas, he was so obsessed over wanting to control the background and all the CGI and upping the technology and all that. And, sitting in a green box after a couple months just gets tiresome and exhausting. And he said, and especially, he worded it something like, he's like, I'm trying to be respectful here, but when the dialogue isn't Shakespeare, it's really hard to keep going like with nothing to work with. And he went on talking about like the Mandalorian technology with the I forget what the term for it is, but like the live green screen,
the LED wall.
Yeah, he said it gives a more immersive experience, so they're going to incorporate that same stuff with the new show. So he was reassuring fans that
I saw this news on the Star Wars subreddit, which I have in my Reddit feed. And that's an interesting place to see that news, because it's a little different from the context of other places, because I think we forget this, that there are a lot of prequel stands.
Oh yeah. Oh, for
like
sure.
a lot, like an entire generation of Star Wars fans like the movies almost better than the originals.
Unironically like them.
Unironically, yeah.
I was a huge episode 1 fan when it came out. I saw that movie at least 10 times in theater.
Oh yeah, I saw it 19 times in theaters.
Yeah.
And if you're at that right age where that's your first Star Wars experience, of course that's going to be imprinted on you. Not to mention if you're like a preteen to teen girl who watches episode 2 and bad boys make your heart swoon. So problematic Anakin saying you mock me in my dreams, you just melt over that.
Well, for context, I was 13 when The Phantom Menace came out, and I saw it 19 times. And I was 16 when Attack of the Clones came out 3 years later, and I saw it once in theaters. So you can sort of tell where my maturity level was shifting at that point, because I do remember I saw it opening weekend with Justin and Eric and that whole crew, and we waited in line for literally hours, for 7 or 8 hours or something absurd like that. And then we walked out of it and we're all like, what the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? And then I subsequently started to realize that oh wait, maybe The Phantom Menace wasn't as good as I remember it was as a child. But I mean, over time, so for a long period of time, I really just did not like the prequels at all. But over time, I've sort of softened on them considerably. I definitely don't like them as much as the original trilogy, but I really like the pod race.
Number 1 was okay. Number 2 was absolute fucking garbage.
Number
3 was serviceable.
The second one is just fucking atrocious.
And go ahead.
No, good.
No, I rewatched them I had planned to do an entire franchise rewatch, and I still haven't picked that back up on it, but it was mainly for me to finally get through Clone Wars, which I avoided for a long time because I didn't give a fuck about Anakin. So I rewatched.
I mean, you will after you watch Clone Wars.
Exactly, yeah, which was Todd was yelling at me for years, and he was right. And so I rewatched 1 and 2 and did whatever the proper order was. I think 1, 2, Clone Wars, then 3. Or something like that, and that definitely made me appreciate the prequels more. But again,
also fan edits.
One I enjoyed.
Fan edits helped with the prequels quite a bit. If once you find your favorite fan edit, you just burn that shit to a Blu-ray and pop it in the the case, you know.
I
Like,
still want to see either the Topher Grace or the Elijah Wood cut.
the Topher Grace, you're not going to find it.
Yeah, I know it doesn't exist outside.
It doesn't exist in any digital form anywhere. He's got it on a couple DVDs in his house.
Release the Topher cut.
Yeah. What was the second one?
Elijah Wood has also got a cut.
That's interesting.
Oh wow.
I found pretty much my favorite edits of all three of the prequels, and I have let's just say I can let you get to them.
Yeah, give me that shit. Give me that shit.
Because and they're by three different fan editors, but they're all three subsequently the ones that I think are the best.
Cool. This is kind of random, but turning back to Marvel really quick, just because you reminded me of, or I guess I reminded myself, I released the Topher cut shit. There's been little bits of news sprinkling out since Falcon and the Winter Soldier ended. There was an interview with Malcolm Spellman, the showrunner, creator, and little bits from Sebastian Stan, what have you. Apparently, I think the creator, Malcolm Spellman, at some point in an interview said that there was actually quite a bit more, some more back and forth between Bucky and Sarah, the
girl,
Sam's sister.
Okay.
There was more of a like flirtation between them and stuff.
Release that cut.
Yeah, so Sebastian Stan went on Twitter and he said like release the Bucky Sarah cut.
So actually, I have some friends on Facebook who were making fun of the show for allowing Bucky to be invited to the cookout. They were like, "Oh hell no way that's happening." No white boy getting invited to the cookout.
He's the token white boy. Come on.
Yeah, well, and they were like, I mean, yeah, and he's like, oh, and he's got a black girl fever.
Apparently, that was an actual like kind of a rap party for them that they just filmed.
Oh, I'm sure.
And they kind of set up like little moments here and there, but for the most part, that was like a legit rap party.
I just thought that was really, really funny.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, like I read some interesting takes on it that did not align with ours in any way.
Huh.
Some friends that were some black friends specifically that were like, "This is military propaganda."
Oh.
Like doesn't go far enough in the racism stuff. Like they talk about it, but they don't actually do anything with it. That type of thing. And I mean, I still disagree with them, but you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's as far as, yeah, I mean, their context is real, but it's as far as a major Marvel property is going to be able to go in that type of direction.
No, I agree with you. Yeah, like I would love if they went further. There's no fucking way that they could go any further than they already have.
Well, what was awesome in that same interview I read with Malcolm Spellman, he made it clear. He pointed out, because they were asking, he said, like Marvel never blinked at anything he put out. Like he was really? expecting the whole time at some point he was going to get the tap on the shoulder, like but they said like no, as long as it like services the story and the characters properly.
I mean, they knew who they were. They knew who they were hiring. You know, like
yeah.
He was, wrote for Empire. Like they knew who they were getting. And also, I guess like Marvel hasn't really they haven't really blinked with most of the comics either. Like they have published some very like very controversial Marvel comics in the past.
Well, it's one thing to do a comic and it's another to do a major broadcast television or movie.
I agree.
True. Yeah. Here's something I think anybody can get behind. Taika Waititi.
My man.
My man. That's all you need to know. It's Taika. That's it. There's just more fun with Taika. He is set to star in an HBO Max
sold
comedy series with pirates. Our flag means death.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Super sold.
Yep.
Well,
Sign me up.
I don't have to know anything else about the series. I'm watching it.
Yeah, no, I literally don't. I don't need to know anything else.
Shut up,
Taika
Fry.
Waititi
Shut up and take my money.
as a pirate. We're good.
Fucking sold. But just for shits, I'm gonna give you more. I'm just gonna read straight from this Deadline article because it says it all. Jojo Rabbit Oscar winner Taika Waititi is taking on yet another role in the HBO Max period comedy Our Flag Means Death. In addition to serving as executive producer and pilot director, Waititi will star opposite Rhys Darby.
Oh God, yes. Oh God, yes.
Okay, well then I'm super sold then.
Wait, hold up. Sorry, I had to pause and Google Rhys Darby for Meg.
Do I know him?
Yeah.
Yes.
We're werewolves, not werewolves.
Oh,
Werewolves,
yes.
Yeah, there you go.
And he was also on the Comedy Central show
Conchords.
Points. What the fuck was the name of it?
At midnight.
At Midnight.
Midnight, yeah. He
was on that like every other episode.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
You just jogged a memory of something that I forgot existed.
So Our Flag Means Death is based loosely on the true adventures of if I'm pronouncing this right, Steed Bonnet, who Darby is portraying, a pampered aristocrat who abandoned his life of privilege to become a pirate, and Waititi will be playing opposite him as Blackbeard.
Nice.
That's amazing. That's so good. So it's so funny that you mentioned this because I just today watched a clip of this show called oh God, what was it? For King Rabbit, something like this. It's a British show, and it stars what's his name from What We Do in the Shadows TV show, Matt Berry, Matt Berry, the other guy, Jackie Daytona.
Oh yeah.
And it was a YouTube clip that was called How to Be Cockney, and Taika Waititi is just in the scene in the background, and I had never heard of the show before, and now I want to watch it. God, what is it? Let me see. Something Rabbit. Taika, but Jojo Rabbit's gonna come up. God damn it.
Yeah, you're gonna get nothing but Jojo Rabbit.
Anyways, it looked really good.
All right.
Cool story, Byron.
Cool story, bro. All right.
Let me try to figure out what his name is.
You look it up as I continue on here.
Save Ralph.
What's that?
Save
Ralph. It's got a rabbit on the cover. It's a short.
No. What's the Jackie Daytona writer or actor's name?
I have to Google it. Save Ralph. Actually, that was a little short. Looks like it was like a little claymation or animated to look like claymation.
Short. Oh, it is Matt. His name is Matt Berry.
Matt Berry.
Okay, let me see if I can find his.
Taika released that on social media just about a week ago, and I actually sent it to Meg, but I don't know if she ever watched it. It was pretty rough to watch. It starts off like fun and lighthearted.
Oh, that's why I didn't watch it, because you told me that it was rough to watch.
Yeah,
it
was a thing against animal cruelty. It was part of a thing to stop animal testing globally, like sign a petition and everything.
Year of the Rabbit.
Oh, Year of the Rabbit. That's what it's called.
Year of the Rabbit.
TV miniseries, 6 episodes.
All right.
Okay, that's why I'd never heard of it, because it's just a miniseries.
And that's starring Jackie Daytona.
Yeah, Matt Berry, and Taika just happens to be in it.
Oh, all right.
He is credited as accordion player.
So is Taika still doing Akira?
I think somebody else is doing Akira.
Because he was attached, wasn't he?
I thought James Cameron was for years, and then I never heard anything again about it. Akira movie. I've got no recent news about it, or no news at all.
Yeah, Taika Waititi sets the record straight on his plans for Star Wars and Akira. He was announced as being the director of Akira like last year.
Oh shit.
The live action. And he said that he's only going to cast non-white actors in Akira because there aren't any white actors in Akira. Or there's no white characters, that is.
Right. All right. Cool. If that news ever came up last year, I did not recall. But
According to YTT, the whole thing went on hold. We had to keep pushing the dates, and it encroached on the Thor dates, which were immovable. So Akira ended up shifting 2 years down the track post Thor. So I'm not sure if I'm not sure if even in 2 years I don't know what I'm doing in fucking 2 days. I think eventually it will happen. I'm just not sure if I'll be doing it. Okay. That sucks because I was really excited about him being attached because I felt like that was the perfect type of person to be.
Isn't Akira more serious though?
Yeah, but when he does serious, he's really good at it.
True.
I mean, Jojo Rabbit, the moments that aren't funny are like fucking brutal.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's centered around this little thing called the Holocaust, but you know. Oh wow. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure whatever you cook up will be entertaining. Here's something that is kind of near and dear to me. Did you know that there's a Jim Henson biopic happening?
I did. I'm very excited about this.
Yeah, Muppet Man.
So who are they gonna get? Who are they gonna get to play the man?
They don't know. There's speculation.
It's gonna be like Tom Hanks. He plays all of those characters.
Tom Hanks just plays all the wholesome guys from my childhood. Well, there was like a Collider. He
was not as wholesome as people think he was.
Oh, Henson?
Yeah, I mean the Muppets started like as like adult. I mean the Muppets were on SNL before they were on before the actual Muppet Show.
There was his early, before like officially they were the Muppets. He had these two little characters. I don't remember their names off the top of my head, but in like old, might have been like early 60s, black and white little product commercials, little quick snippet TV commercials, like 15, 30 seconds tops. And it was for random shit. It was like household products, like fucking cans of beans, dishwasher detergent, and like dishwasher detergent. And like one character would always end up like exploding the other character, like Looney Tunes or something, or like bashing him over the head. Yeah, very much so like that, except like sock puppets, like very rudimentary, like not like stylized Muppets, just very much sock puppety. But they're hilarious. They're really like dark and twisted, but like in a lighthearted way to sell household shit. It's like this weird, it's like an edgier parody of like 1950s wholesome household product commercials. You know, it's really weird. They're fun to watch. I didn't even know they existed until we went to the Smithsonian actually years ago for a friend's wedding. We were out on the East Coast, and then we stopped at the Smithsonian, and they had a whole section dedicated to Henson and his whole history and the Muppets and the proto Muppets and all that shit. Anyway, there was a Collider article I saw where they're like, here's 7 actors we think could play Jim Henson, and kind of random. I mean, first off, they said Jason Segel because he's like massive Muppet fanboy.
He doesn't really look anything like him, but
I doesn't look like him. Maybe if you gave him a scraggly beard and grew out his hair.
I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I feel like he's probably had his Muppet times.
Yeah. They threw out Jason Sudeikis.
Be decent, I guess.
Maybe, yeah. Bill Hader.
What's the first one?
Huh?
Who was the first one in that list? Because I think I read the same list.
Oh, where was it? Justin Theroux, who I'm not really familiar with. I mean, I know the name, but second was Jason Segel, Jason Sudeikis, Bill Hader, who again,
Bill Hader would probably do a pretty damn good job.
He's a damn good actor. He looks nothing like him, but yeah, I think he could sell it. Somebody who looks like him, but I've never seen his like lighthearted chops, Wyatt Russell, who was our fucking U.S. agent.
U.S. agent.
And they had a snapshot of him from something else. Apparently he did some like goofball role in an earlier film. And he's got the scraggly hair and beard, and he looks it very much. Then they said like Ben Foster, which I'm like, no. Adam Driver.
That would just be weird.
Yeah. I can't see that, but
they'll find somebody who's,
yeah, it'll be interesting. That's collaboration with Disney and the Jim Henson production company, or Jim Henson Studios. I think that's about it that I had for news. which is good. We're actually going to come in on time for once.
So in 2 days is May the 4th. And so the interesting thing about like May the 4th is like we all know about these like these new fake holidays that like every single corporation has created for their characters. There's
that's
like
what we'll have
Alien
to talk.
Day, there's Batman Day, there's like are you talking about the Bad Batch?
That's what we'll have to talk about next week.
Yeah. Agreed. But like so I have this thing. I don't really like buying Star Wars merchandise anymore, just because so much of it is crap. Like
Where did George Lucas touch you, Byron?
They really have just slapped
in the Indiana Jones 5.
Like this, like the fucking Schwartz is absolutely with Disney at this point. You know, like
where the real money from the movies is made.
Like Spaceballs, the fucking lunchbox is absolutely true. Well, and it's, you know, I used to like having Star Wars merchandise, but like now there's just so much, and it's so low quality, and I don't know, they'll just give the license to literally anyone. And there are very few Star Wars products that like I see nowadays, because there's so many of them that really jump out to me, and I'm like, oh fuck, that's cool. I really like that. I really want that.
And half of that's not even licensed either.
Yeah, right. Like just like T-Bubble shirts and shit, or like Red Bubble shirts, or
yeah. I think the last time I was interested in like, oh wow, awesome, like Star Wars gear, had nothing to do with officially licensed shit. It was some random internet artist who did like a Tank Girl version of Leia.
Yeah, exactly. Stuff like that is cool.
For the print that I bought you, I'm pretty sure that that's not licensed either. The Cloud City print.
Oh yeah. Where did we put that?
We put that in the kitchen.
Oh, it's in the kitchen.
I mean, the one thing that I'm a little bit of a sucker for is woven shirts, like button-ups. Mm-hmm. But I'm just like, pretty much any licensed button-up that's halfway decent, I'm like, oh my god, I must have it. And I actually noticed that there's a couple on Heroes and Villains. And this is the thing, is that I found a few sites that are like higher quality licensed merchandise than others. Like they actually get like professional designers to design them instead of some fucking intern. Just like slapping a reoccurring like print from a PNG on something, you know. And then I saw a couple. These are actually the first time I've seen Star Wars merchandise that I was like, oh shit, that is cool. And it's mainly just because I haven't seen it anywhere else. It was shirts for Rebel Assault and TIE Fighter the game.
Nice.
And I was like, oh fuck, that got me hard.
I found a lot of Star Wars stuff.
That got you hard.
Not hard like that.
I found a lot of Star Wars stuff that I wanted to buy. All the Star Wars things was in the old days of Think Geek.
Yeah, Think Geek.
Yeah, the old Think Geek stuff was pretty good, but I mean, ever since GameStop bought Think Geek, it sucks. Everything that comes out of them is terrible.
I appreciated it for one reason. When Think Geek was having their like liquidation of their site, I managed to grab one of my favorite shirts, my N7 Mass Effect shirt.
Oh yeah,
$5.
That's funny because I almost bought that same shirt in that sale and I didn't.
Yeah. I get like, I'll post in like when I'm posting in like random like my fucking finance groups that I'm in Facebook. Some dude, like there's a bunch of like
nice N7 shirt, dude.
Yeah, there's like fucking retirees and shit in there, like old boomers that I'm talking
That's
to.
What I'm saying, man.
Some slightly younger dude will be like, that N7 shirt in your profile though. Oh my god.
I mean, we really forget like Mass Effect. There is an entire generation of gamers that like, I feel Mass Effect is as big of a science fiction staple for them as like Aliens was for us growing up, you know, or like Terminator 2.
That was one of those gaming experiences where I wished that it was a movie or like a book, because I loved the story so much that I wanted to share it with other people who aren't necessarily going to play 100 hours of a video game trilogy or something. I'm like,
that's the thing is like the first Mass Effect it's long. I mean, the subsequent ones are even longer, especially the second one. But like Mass Effect
if you cut out the entire mining.
Oh yeah, Jesus.
You can cut down.
I mean, just like the main story of Mass Effect 1 is minimum without side quests is like 12 hours long.
Yeah.
I think it's even longer. I think it's closer
but
to 20.
That's if you're a detail or a goal-oriented gamer and not somebody that goes around, oh, did I miss something in this small corner? Oh, did I do all the side quests in this area?
Yeah, that's me checking
like
every
even
corner.
the opening of the game. Like a couple years ago, I tried to get my girlfriend at the time. I thought she was really into Dragon Age, so I thought that she'd like Mass Effect. It turns out that she was just mainly into fantasy. And trying to get through the first like half or like first couple hours of Mass Effect was really hard because I realized like, and especially just like Mass Effect itself is so sort of archaic game design by modern standards. Yeah, it was a lot harder than I expected.
That was one little bit of gaming news. There really wasn't any gaming news that I could find this week, but there was a tiny little bit about Dragon Age 4 coming that I guess in one of the latest trailers or bits of artwork that they released was hinting heavily at the Grey Wardens returning, which they kind of brushed to the side in the last two games. I mean, they were like the main staple of the first game. And Origin.
There were a couple of Grey Wardens storylines in Inquisition, but they weren't the focus by any measure.
Yeah.
Oh, you know the other thing that I remembered that Rhys Darby is in? Half-Life Alyx.
Oh, really?
He's like the guy in your ear talking to you throughout the entire game.
Well, shit. I'm still not gonna buy a fucking VR set, but I'm gonna have to keep that whole story just because I need my Half-Life content.
Do it.
You
can play it on your current. You can play it on your PC. Airlink.
I'm one stimulus check away from buying a VR
Quest
headset.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna buy a Quest. I can't support Facebook any more than I already do.
All right.
I think I'll end up with either a Vive or an Index.
Well, the Vive is out of the Index is no longer in stock.
The Index is almost never in stock.
No, I mean it's not in stock, and it hasn't been for almost a year.
Yeah, because they can't get the parts out of China right now.
Yeah, and then there is the announcement of a couple Vive headsets next week. Supposedly, one of them is going to be a standalone, and one of them is going to be another iteration of their PC headset.
Meg and I will be holding out for our Nintendo Switch as soon as Nintendo announces their next generation console. Judging from our track record.
And honestly, it's almost time for Nintendo to come out with another console entirely. Like they're usually the first ones out of the next generation, and Switch has already been out for what, 5 years now?
Yeah, but they sold 30 million this year though.
True.
No way it's been that long. It has not been 5 years.
It's been 5 years.
Are you shitting me?
I bought my Switch when I was living with you guys, I think, still.
What?
Yeah, I was in LA when it came out.
Because you would take it with you to work, Todd.
Fucking hell. Time is on our side. Yes, it is.
And they should make a sequel to Fallen.
2017, so 4 years.
Oh my God. I was talking about that movie on our book club on Friday night for some reason.
That movie's fucking fantastic.
Talking about fallen angels and shit. Yeah.
This weird like couple years where they were making like supernatural like thrillers, you know, supernatural crime thrillers specifically.
Yeah, that's a very specific. What a specific era where only Denzel Washington could have pulled that off.
Yeah, that movie's great. John Goodman's in it too.
I almost died. Yeah, John Goodman. Yeah, I remember finding it hilarious as a kid when I saw that because it was John Goodman who, you know, as a kid I knew like from Roseanne and from like the fucking Flintstones movie and like kind of more lighthearted stuff. And then when he's shot and like, well, he's possessed by the
demon.
He's over to end. Yeah, and he finds out he's been tricked. He's like, "Fuck you, you fucking fucker," or says something like that. It's just, I started cracking up because I was just like, I didn't expect that from him, from John.
So that movie came out right around the time that Frailty also came out, and Frailty is also really fucking good. And they both have they're both supernatural movies that you don't know, or well, I guess Fallen you know the whole time, but in Frailty you don't know that it's actually supernatural until the last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And they both have super downer endings.
Yeah.
Like super downer twist endings.
Uh-huh.
You know, everybody wanted to do the 7 thing, I guess.
Yes, for sure. That was definitely a product of 7. And I also remember as a kid, I was bummed at the beginning of Fallen because they killed off Casey Jones in like the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's right. I love that that's your reasoning.
Yep. Oh, Casey Jones, and he's gone. All right, guys. Any last news? Any final? I was gonna say like final requests, as if we're on Death Row or something. Thank you for joining the Getting Off Topic podcast. This is Tony.
This is Todd.
This is Byron.
And Meg.
Did you finish your plain soulless popcorn? Well done.